Hello everyone, my name is Rajesh Kumar and I'm your DevOps SRE DevSecOps coach. I have close to 18 plus years of experience working in multiple MNCs around the globe and having in-depth knowledge of DevOps, SRE and DevSecOps. So I would like to introduce you one certification program in a DevOps, and that is we call it DevOps Certified Professional. Now this is a 2 months of program, 25 tools of DevOps you will learn, and apart from that you will also get the access to the LMS, lifetime access to the videos portal. It's a certification program, and you will have 25 assignments and 2 projects along with it. It's a completely weekend program, so here you have classes on Saturday and Sunday. So as part of this course, you will learn multiple things. Here you see that you will learn Linux, AWS, Docker, Jira, Confluence, Python, Git with GitHub, SonarQube, Maven, Gradle, Packer, Artifactory, Selenium, JMeter, Ansible, Kubernetes, Helm, Terraform, Jenkins, Datadog, Splunk, and Neuralink. Now, how do we, apply for this? So how can you reach out to us? So you have a WhatsApp number and email ID, so please reach out to us and we'll help you to onboard this program. Apart from this DevOps certified professional programs, we are offering other certifications as well in a DevSecOps, SRE, and one of the very comprehensive programs which we have is in Master in DevOps Engineering. Yeah, so feel free to get in touch with us and then enroll for it. Thank you. So the first topic I'm going to talk about is how to share an feedback using Jenkins. That is the first thing. Second thing, Jenkins Pipeline, which is a part of this itself. Now, after that, I'm going to work with some of the admin related stuff like Jenkins authentications. Okay, then Jenkins authorizations also. Authorization also. So this is the part, and then last topic which I'm going to talk about, node management. That means how to add node, okay, in Jenkins. So these are the things I'm going to talk about. You guys have any questions for me which I should add it, all of you? Any questions? Hello, I'm audible, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get started. So guys, how to share any feedback? Simple. That's one of the very popular mode which we have is email. Okay, second mode is we have chat, and third mode we have a pipeline. Okay, so this is the way you can share the feedback about the build, testing, deployment, whatever the jobs which you're creating. You can share the feedback using these methods: email, chat, and pipeline. So now in for the email, we have a 2 plugins already installed in Jenkins. Okay, so let me show you the plugin number one, which you can see. Go to the Jenkins, go to the any jobs, create a jobs, and create configurations, and go to the bottom section, which is the post build actions. Okay, in the post build action, just let me remove this one, and here see the post build actions. Here you have one plugin which is, you see that email notification. This is the one which we have used last time also, and there's one more plugin which is installed already, and that is called let me show you. See here, editable email notifications. So now editable email notification is another plugin, and that is a more advanced actually. So if you see that here you can customize the email. That means here you can uh, set the from, recipient list, reply to list, content type, what kind of subject should be there, body, attachment if any, okay. So and then here if you see that advanced settings, here you have so many other options. In fact, the email can be triggered to the only developer, those who committed the code in the git, or maybe culprits also. So if you see that here, you can send an email to culprits, those who fail the build, or contributor, all the build users or many other persons. So yeah, it's a pretty rich feature you have, and depends on any requirement. If you want to customize the email, you should use editable email notification. If just you want to drop an email, so that is a basic one, which you know that. So these are the two plugins. Now these two plugins will not work. Any idea why it will not work? Any idea why
Not
it will
con-
not work?
it's not configured, I believe.
So everything has to be configured. So let me tell you, Jenkins is a CI tool, okay, not a SMTP server. Jenkins cannot send an email. Who can send an email? SMTP server. Okay. So where is SMTP server? So Jenkins is not acting like a SMTP server. So in order to get this plugin work, okay, you have to go to the Jenkins dashboard. Okay, mind it, manage Jenkins. I repeat, any configurations you will do, you can do here. Any tools installation and configuration you want to do, you can do here. Very simple. Okay, so last time also I've used it. So go to the configure system, and this place you'll have to locate that. So go one by one and check that here. Uh, Here I'm just going through, and you see here so many options. You can search, I can search also, but I just want to show you. See here, this is the extended email notifications. So that means here you have to give your SMTP server. This is for the advanced one. Okay, so you have to give SMTP server and all this stuff, and then validate. So here you give all this information, and try to validate, and then if it is working, then only you try to use that plugin. Okay, so now where to get SMTP server details? So again, if you talk to your IT team and all, they will be able to help you out. Okay, so this is the something advanced one. Now there was a second plugin which was a basic, which we used yesterday. So for that, how do we set up SMTP? So scroll down and you see here email notifications. Here also two SMTP server information you have it, and you can test this. Okay, understood that. So first step number one, in order to send an email, you have to configure SMTP server. Second thing, use the plugins in the job. Is that understood, all of you? All of you?
Yes.
Okay, so now next mode is to get the feedback is using chat. So how do we use the chat? Simple, again, rule what I taught you in the last class is the same. Install the plugin, configure the plugin, use the plugin. So which chat typically you use it? So nowadays Slack is very popular and Team is very popular. Okay, I don't know which chat you guys are using. Any idea which chat you guys are using?
We are using both.
Both, yeah. So how do you get the build notifications, job notifications in your Slack channels or Teams? How do you get it? So for that, what we can do, first thing, install the plugin. So these are the plugins will not be installed, so you have to configure it. So go to the manage Jenkins, go to the plugins here, and you can install as per the your requirement. Available plugins, search for Slack here. Now there's so many entries are there. Read it. One of this, I know that this plugin will help me. So click on it, install without restart. So now Slack plugin, you installed it. Similar way you can do with the Teams also. So go for team, and here this is the one I know that it will be used. So click here and install without restart. Done. So these two plugins I wanted. So now I install these plugins. Now I have to configure it. Okay. So for this configuration, what you need to do? So if you know the Slack, we have workspace concept. So you have to log into the Slack, get API token URL, and then come back to Jenkins, go to the manage Jenkins, click on the configure system. Okay. And here look for the Slack. So same way Slack configuration has to be done. See, this is a connector for 365, and somewhere Here it is. So now you configure this one. Without you configuring that, Jenkins will not be able to send you the notification. So you have to configure this one. Give the workspace name, okay, whatever you are using. If you are not very familiar with it, try to log in to Slack. You will understand that what is workspace, or talk to your admin of Slack, and they say, you say like, I need a workspace name, and then credential for that. Okay, some token will be there, and some member ID and channel ID. So here workspace and channel ID and credentials you give it, and then this work is done. Same way, teams also you have to configure. Okay, and after that use it. So go to the Jenkins job. Let's say this is the job, configure, and go to the post build action. And you see here, let me delete this. In the post build action, click here and go to Slack. See here, Slack notifications. Now this will not work because workspace I have not added, but here you see you can get the notification based on the build start, success, aborted, all this thing. You can check whichever whenever you want the message. Simple. Now where do we find the teams? So teams will be upside actually. I don't know why they are keeping it here, but this is upside. Okay, and here you have all options for the teams. So here you can add a webhook, let's say some URL and name, and here advanced settings. If you see here, teams aborted, failure, not built, unstable, and all. Okay, so remember that for the chat, install the plugin, configure the plugin, and use the plugin in the job. And in case of whatever the event you selected, based on that, you will get notification in your chat. Did you understand that, all of you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now this one is very important. Okay, pipeline. Nowadays everyone is you know setting up the pipeline. So let me tell you here, the concept is very clear. The concept of DevOps, you know that you need to code for the product. If you want to become a DevOps engineer, you need to code for the product. You need to code for the testing the product. You need to code for uh, continuous deployments. You need to code for infrastructure. You need to code for security. So yes, in CI also you need to code for it. How do we code it? So whatever I was teaching you through the manual process, typically we don't do that actually. Nowadays we write a code for it. So whatever manual things which we do on this website like this, we don't do that. So we write a code for it, and then that code we call it a pipeline code. So what we do in this code, pipeline means what? So let me put it in a very simple way. So here you have a build, then here you have a testing, and then here you have a deployment, something just a very simple one I'm creating. So these are the three jobs you have it. And now these three jobs, whatever is required, I created last time here, if you remember. So these are the jobs I want to create through code. That is something like a code. Okay, and this uh, uh, using code. Okay, and now this things will be done through the code, and then when we run the code, everything should happen automatically. Now the concept of pipeline is very simple. Understand this. This pipeline concept you will not find only in Jenkins, everywhere actually. So what is the concept of pipeline? The pipeline concept is very simple. Let's say this is your pipeline. This is your pipeline. Okay, correct. So now the concept is, you give something here input, and here something should be output. Very simple. Okay, and here this input, whatever you give it, it should be processing in the phases. Okay, so something like that. What input you can give? So input you can give code. Send the code to here. Okay, now code, sorry, here let's put it up. Code is you're sending to here this code, and here you are building the code. Based on this output, you are testing that code only. Based on this testing output, you are deploying the code, or I mean, let's say doing it XYZ also. So now this work will be done based on this. This work will be based on this. This work will be based on this. Pipe in grep also, if you in Linux also we use a pipe, right? So it's like a piping the work. Are you understanding? Hello? Hello?
So
Yeah, we are clear.
Okay.
is this
So this is
also
called
that
pipeline. Yeah, some question?
is this something that we is a part of GitHub?
GitHub also we have pipeline. We call it GitHub Actions.
Oh,
Everywhere this concept is nowadays everywhere. So understand this way. So basically the idea is very simple. We don't want to do all this thing manually. So create a pipeline. Give some code, some input, output. It can be any code actually. In case of CI code we are giving, in terms of, let's say I'll give you pipeline for some other concept. Let's discuss the pipeline for generic concept. So for example, I'll give you some raw data which is from the weather forecast, and process this, then add this algorithm, then add this algorithm, and then output you show me the reports. So this is called pipeline. So here we don't want to do everything manual. We build a pipeline for everything and then get it done. For example, if you are in ETL team, you'll give some raw data, and that data will be transformed one, then two transformation, three transformation, four transformation, and output you get it. So this is a conceptual. Make sense?
yes.
Okay. So now how do you do the build pipeline? Earlier, I remember, where's the notepad? Huh? So how do you do the build pipeline? So this you can do this pipeline creation using existing job also, but I'm not covering this one. Why? Because this concept got deprecated long back. Okay. Though, but for visualization I'll show you. Okay. Just for you so understand the concept, you show you. And here using code, this is the most important one. Okay. So let me do this existing job. So go to this. Now let me delete unnecessary job to have a clean demo. Okay. So you have a scan test. Um, Delete. So where is a compile? Scan is there, but this will fail because SonarQube is running. Let me check. I forgot that. 9,000, right? It's running actually. Yeah. So scan is running. There is one job has to be. Uh, Let me check this job is doing some testing or not. So build steps. See, this is a fake job. So what I will do, I will set up Maven. I forgot whether it's there or not. So let me check once. I don't want I mean, build failing is also okay. There's no Maven. So let me install a Rajesh Maven and save it. So I added a Maven. I did it last time, and some source code I want to use it. So the source code I have given you, any source code you can use it, which you understand well, you can use it. That's not a problem. If you don't understand well, don't use blindly any source code. Okay. So just for the learning Jenkins, you are using some code which you don't understand, it's a waste of time. So here I'll create one job, compile, freestyle, click OK, and go to source code management. Here and go to the build directory. Here Maven, and here Rajesh, and compile. Now save it. Fake job I'm creating. I mean, some simple jobs which can test. I'll delete this because this is not the one which I wanted. So what I'll do, build, compile, scan, compile, and then test. So let's create one more job, test, and here create from the compile, save it. This job is also created, and last job I want to create, let me do this compile build now, and test also, let me do the build now. Okay, so last job which you want to create is deploy. So new item, deploy. This I'm doing manually, okay, but you will, in pipeline world, you'll not do that. So why I'm doing this manually, just to you to visualize that what is a pipeline concept. Okay, so here, done. So I got a 4 jobs created. Okay, this will do compilation, this will do scan, this will do deployment, this will do test. So deployments, I'll just configure goal and build steps, here install. Okay, and save it. Done. So now guys, here you have all these things. Let me call the deployment also build now. So you see that all jobs is passing. Now what I will do, I will link this job. So here scan should call automatically the compile. Compile should call test. Test should call deploy. That's a logical link. So go to the scan, and in the configurations under the post build actions, here, build other projects. This will call compile, and save it. And now refresh. Now compile, go to the compile. Compile should call this test. So go to the post build action, here, build other project, test. And test should call deploy, last page, correct now? So refresh it, test job, configure, and build steps, build pipeline, build this one, build other projects, and deploy. Okay, so now you see that here, save it. Done. Refresh. So now you see that what I did, I created a 4 individual jobs. This one, and this one will do scan, compile will do build, test will do the testing, and deployment will do deploying. So these 4 jobs we build it. Now if I call the scan, then rest of the job automatically will be triggered, which I showed you last time also. Okay, see here. So scan, then scan will call compile, compile will call test, test will call deployment. So this will be in sync. Okay, so you see here, scan is being done. Okay, see, compile is in queue now, and it will happen. Now the question is, how do we see the pipeline visualizations? So these are the prerequisites to build pipeline using existing job. Earlier we used to do that, I mean 5, 6 or 10 years before, we used to do that like that. So let me show you one plugin which you required, which got deprecated by the way. So go to the manage Jenkins, and manage plugins, and available one, and click on the build pipeline. Okay, build pipeline. See here, now this plugin got deprecated, we are not using it. We are using the coding pipeline, which I'll teach you again, but this is just for understanding purpose. So you'll see the what exactly pipeline concept, you'll be able to understand more better way. So this is the one, I'm installing it. It will take few seconds of time here. Okay, so done. Now I'll show you the pipeline. So here I'll go to plus button. This is the plus button, and here you see pipeline. What is this? DevOps school pipeline. Okay, done, and create, and done. These are the things we did it. Now you can go through this in detail, but I know only 2 things is required. One is first select the first job, and how many pipeline you want to see, somewhere here. Okay, that's all. Rest of the things you can go in offline, it's not very important. Save it. Okay, and see this is a pipeline. See, now you can, there's some UI issues here, you can see the logo is not coming well, but click on the run, and see here, scan will be completed, then it will call trigger. There's a one arrow button, okay, that right now is missing because of some reason, but it will call compile. Compile will test, test will deploy. So now this will, so how do you trigger that scan? I taught you 8 method, correct now last day. So you can trigger scan, rest of the things automatically will happen. So now did you understand the pipeline concept? That means you give the code here and then last thing will happen here. Make sense? All of you?
Yes.
Okay, now the question is how to do through the coding. That is important. So now let me talk about it. So go to mm, my blog here and search for Jenkins pipeline. Okay, Jenkins pipeline. And here in this tutorial, you should go for, I'm just looking for the which one. Mm, this one, Jenkins pipeline complete a reference tutorial. Click on it. Okay. So now, so you understand what is a pipeline. So I'll not explain it to you again. You understand that. You see this pipeline, the first one, this is from the Blue Ocean. So Blue Ocean is another version of Jenkins, which is designed for the pipeline only. And this is the one, is one I'm teaching you right now. Okay. This all so why pipeline? Simple. You give something input, you get output. You don't have to worry about it. That's extreme state of automations. Okay. So now how do we write a code? So first thing, you write a code in Jenkins file. That means the file name would be Jenkins file. Okay. So I'll teach you how to write a code. That's not a very difficult thing. And in this, you store the code in Jenkins file. Okay. And you have some language which you write in a domain specific language. Okay. So remember that. So now what is a Jenkins file? Simple. Jenkins file is is a file which store the pipeline code. Okay, simple. Now in order to, what are the prerequisite of Jenkins file? Jenkins pipeline. So same thing, you know, the Jenkins has to be there, Java has to be there, plugin has to be installed. So earlier, you know what, earlier we were not having the plugins. I remember that this plugin was not installed in Jenkins by default earlier, means when I say 5 years before, but nowadays it's coming along with it. Where exactly the plugin is, let me show you. So you go to the Jenkins, click on the new item, and you see here, this is the pipeline, this is the plugin actually. So earlier it used to not, we used to install separately, but now it's coming anyways. So that is also okay. We don't have to read too much. Now, how do we define this Jenkins pipeline? So you can define the Blue Ocean, classic UI, and stuff like that. So this why I'm showing you this one. Classic UI. Classic UI means Jenkins community version. Now, how do we write a code? So there are two types of Jenkins pipeline you can write a code. One is a declarative, one is a scripted. So now I'll say, okay, what is scripted? What is declarative? Let me put it in a very simple way. Scripted is the old language specifications for writing Jenkins file. Okay, old one. Declarative, recently it has been introduced. Now, how do you understand scripted and declarative? So here, whenever you see declarative pipeline, this code will start with a pipeline. Simple. Don't complicate your mind. This, when you want to write a declarative, it will start with a pipeline, and inside that all the code will go. Make sense? Now, if you see that scripted one, then it will start like this. This is the scripted one, scripted pipeline. It'll start not with a pipeline, but it'll start with like this. Understood?
Yeah.
All of you? Hello?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
Yes.
got
So
that.
remember, so remember that declarative pipeline start with this, scripted pipeline start with a node or something like that. Simple. So I have a wiring in my mind. Okay, I'll tell you. Any code, any Jenkins file which I see, if I see this one, that means it's a declarative. If I don't see this syntax, that means it's scripted. Simple. That way you can wire your mind also. So it will help you. So now the question is, okay, fine. After that, what to do? How to write? Okay. So let me put it to you why I created this one. Where is that?
If you would have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopsschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Thanks for watching.